Howdy, I'm Warrior Guitars, and I want to bring you guys an Earth Spirit support guide. I want to do this because I went on an absolutely absurd win streak that is technically still going, and I'll show you that right now. Maybe I should have had this preloaded, but check this shit out. It is absolutely gross. Look at this. There are 2 normal games in this. 1, 2. It's 13 wins so far. I'm on an absurd win streak. And I want to show you guys exactly what I've been doing, because it's been quite different than what you guys are used to seeing me do. And I'll show you just what I mean. So we're going to load into just any normal game. Any normal, I say normal, but there's been 13 of them, and they've been absurd. So we're just picking Earth Spirit first as normal. That's the whole reason that I'm showing you this right here. I don't care what any of their picks are, and we'll get to the game. I've been playing him support recently, and so let's talk about that. Player perspective. Yep. Alright, so playing support Earth Spirit. This is different than the regular Earth Spirit that you guys see me play. I usually play him off lane. Recently I've been playing him support. What I do, pause the game real quick if I can. I start wards or courier, unless the other support buys him first. And then I try to get greedy, okay? I usually buy the wards, by the way, because I want to have control over my support items as opposed to the courier, which is generally going to do the same thing every game. I try to play like a greedy support, okay? So I'll show you what I mean if I can open the shop. I can't. Let's just talk about this really quickly before we get into the specifics. How do you pause the game again? Pause? No, it's not that. It's K. Alright. So every game, I start 2 wards usually, tangos, clarities, just one set of both. And then I look around, okay? If I can buy Orb of Venom, usually I will. But there's been some cases where I'll, in favor, get like a Fairy Fire, maybe Fairy Fire and 2 branches, maybe 2 Fairy Fires. Usually it's a Fairy Fire, 2 branches. Sometimes it's a Smoke if they have like a Shadow Fiend or even an Invoker. But I don't even like to get it against Invoker because sometimes they go Quas Wex. But yeah, that's basically the item build, is I try to fill up my inventory slots as much as possible, unless I can start Orb of Venom and regen, as well as some wards. So that's what your build is. You should do that every single game. I'm not joking. If you want to go on a 13 win streak with Earth Spirit. I'm not even trying to sound conceited here. I'm not even joking. If you perfect this, this is absurdly strong right now in pub games. So if you perfect this, you'll gain a lot of MMR. Because basically, if I can talk real briefly about it, I don't want to get into too much of a discussion about this yet, but maybe in a different video. But basically, playing support is very strong right now in this patch compared to what playing offlane was. Last patch, I'll call it the offlane patch. Last patch 6.85 was very, very strong for offlaners, because there was few ways, if you were vehemently trying to, there was few ways to actually disrupt a good offlaner. Now in this patch, with the new side pull for both waves, and just in general, like the layout of the creeps and the way that we can't really take advantage of that hard camp and stuff unless you're like a Doom or something like that, it just became a lot harder to play offlane in this patch. So I play him support because, you know, if offlane became harder, then that probably means that his support role became easier, if that makes any sense. And that should make sense. That should make obvious, perfect sense. So anyways, playing offlane, we're doing a tri-lane. Tri-lane is very strong. I always recommend doing a tri-lane in your higher MMR games if you can. In lower MMR games, good luck. I've struggled aggressively with lower MMR players to get around the mindset of doing a tri-lane. So, you know, it's okay. You don't need a tri-lane to do well with the style. You really, literally just need to pick Earth Spirit, throw him in a lane where he has 1 or 2 other people in it, and get a little bit of levels. Preferably a kill if you can. But you'll see this game that we didn't get a kill so early. Usually I get first blood with this hero, and usually I get it at the rune too, because his slow is so insanely strong at the level 1 minute, or at the rune, at the 0 minute mark basically, especially coupled with an Orb of Venom. It's very easy. So, thought that was the real Invoker. Didn't end up being the real Invoker, very unfortunate. You know, this is just basic laning shit, you know, trying to look for kills if I can, putting a very aggressive ward. You notice, I basically, unless my offlaner specifically asks me for a ward, I don't even like to give him a ward, because I want to have vision of this motherfucker so that I can roll into him and get easy kills. And you'll see, we just got an easy kill. That was on their mid laner. Let's talk about that real quick. So I'm over here. He can actually see me. Doesn't matter. I roll in, get a kill. Very, very easy stuff. You can do this very, very, very easily with supporter spirit. With offlaner spirit, it's a little bit more complicated because you're in a lane where you're the only person there, typically. So they'll know if you go missing, and they'll probably suspect something. Supports are kind of hard to track, or at least a little bit harder to track than normal, because maybe they're off pulling, maybe they're off stacking, who knows. But in general, supports are a little bit harder to keep track of. Also, you can buy smokes and do it. and get away with it. So anyways, standing over here, you know, just derping around, herp derp, Invoker doing his thing, Puck doing his thing, roll into him, stun him, he puts us up with his tornado, doesn't matter, dead. Kid's dead, Puck lives. First blood, very easy. Very, very easy stuff. Your skill build is different from normal Earth Spirit. You don't need to start pull because you're not trying to pull a creep wave. You go Q, W, Q, and then it's standard. E, then another point in Q, ulti, max Q, then max E, then max W. Take ulti whenever you can, of course. Don't take stats until last. Very obvious stuff. So we watch over the rune for our Puck. Very, very basic shit, you know. Watch the time, very important. I don't need to tell you to do that. You should just be doing that. That's not an Earth Spirit mechanic. What I'm trying to teach you here is support Earth Spirit. Very important shit. Item build. A little bit about item build furthering the discussion we just had. I always like to rush Urn as soon as possible if I can, if I'm snowballing, basically. Okay? I'll get it. Usually I try to have because I don't like to play in position 5. I'll usually have the other support get the upgraded courier, and we'll hold off on getting wards until about 2 or 3 of them get into stock because I want to get that Urn as quick as possible. Urn and Orb of Venom is so insanely good for this hero's for ganking potential. Because you'll watch, we get a kill, I got 2 Urn charges, I have Orb of Venom, I can kill anybody in the game right now if I have vision of them, provided they're invisible. And if they're not invisible, well, good luck. You better have like a blink. And side note, nobody in this game besides PA has a blink. Blinking ability at the early levels of the game. So this is going to be like easy pickings. I'm literally just looking for people to kill. So I got a ward, I got some dust. Always get dust if you're trying to gank somebody who's invisible. That's just obvious. I'm going to pause right quick here. Some of you guys that are trying to gank this Invoker probably wouldn't carry dust. I'm not some of you guys though. I'm a different person. I'm wearing guitars. So I carry dust and we get the kill. Easy shit. Got Urn up, get a bottle charge from your mid laner. That's super cool. I'm full HP. Okay? Literally, this game becomes it just becomes a, hey, who's out of position? Let me just go kill him real quick game at this point. Okay? The bounty was out of position. Let's go kill him. Also, he was trying to kill that ward. He was 1 hit away. Very unfortunate for him. But either way, it's 1 to 5. I've been involved in 4 of my team's kills. No big deal. Just doing things that Earth Spirit does. Walking around, got 2 Urn charges. I got big balls. I got huge balls right now. I'm not feeling afraid at all. Just walking around the Christmas tree. We still got a dust, so we still have the potential to gank this Invoker. Always trying to remain MIA, because if they don't know where I am, then they have to play more cautiously. After Urn, rush Arcanes. If you can't get Urn, or if you feel like you're not snowballing quickly enough, then just rush Arcanes. It's more consistent. Urn requires that you get kills to be a super effective item. It's just an okay item without it. That was kind of a scary situation, except I'm Earth Spirit, so it wasn't actually scary. That was even scarier, but except I'm Earth Spirit, so it wasn't even scary. So anyways, I just go back to base because I got really low. Buy a TP, look around the map, TP mid, roll in there, didn't use dust, none of that crap. Puck gave me his bottle, give him his bottle back, we're looking around. We're playing support, so keep getting wards, keep getting the consumables that your team needs, such as smoke, sentries, etc. Kill the random Abaddon who's just walking around not doing anything. Who knows what he's doing? The world may never know what that kid was doing that one day. Who cares? PA's fighting over here with my ogre. I don't care. Get a double kill right quick. I'm just kidding. It's only a single kill. Although the bounty, if you'll check his life, definitely should have died. But whatever. We won't talk about that. The one that got away. 9 kills to my team. I've been accredited to 6 of them. You know, no big deal. Just doing things that Earth Spirit does. This is support Earth Spirit, guys. You stay in your lane until level 3, and then you just roam and you gank. You get smoke if you need to. Your item build, as I told you, you try to always leave the base with an Orb of Venom or get it from the side shop as soon as possible. You pull from the lane if you can't get any kills with your W, although if you aim this ability right and you read the opponent's movements, you should be able to hit it pretty consistently. But say they have like a blinking hero like a Quap, then just Leech EXP until level 3 and constantly pull the wave. You're a melee hero, so you're not that good at poking heroes for harassment purposes. You're mostly good at like going in and going ham. Your W only costs 50 mana, so you can actually use this quite a lot in the early stages of the laning phase, especially with a Clarity to fill you up after you run out of mana. It's pretty easy. So anyways, I found a situation in which my offlaner left to go do things around the map. Totally fine. I'm A-okay with that. I'm just going to sit here and Leech EXP until the Puck comes for me to help me gank. We'll go ahead and gank her. And then I'll just sit here for a little bit longer. Got a TP in case my team needs a TP. I have dust in case my team needs I don't know, in case they need me to go kill that Invoker again or something, you know? Just have the consumables that I need. I've got an Urn charge still. Like, we're sitting in a really good situation. 403 haven't died yet. Try not to die with this style. So here we go, we're running top. Puck is tracked. So we're staying away from her or him, whatever the heck gender Puck is, I don't actually know. We're looking around. We're trying to stay MIA as much as possible, as I told you earlier. There's an Abaddon. There's an Invoker. We're going to go ahead and take care of that Invoker. Actually, we did not take care of that Invoker because Abaddon is a good hero against her Spirit. But we'll go ahead and survive here. Easy peasy. This is like the sketchiest fight that we've had, and we didn't actually even lose it. So that Abaddon got really bad RNG against that Ogre. And it was pretty funny. So we TP back bottom because we want to leech more XP. This is basically what you do. You play support Earth Spirit up until your offlaner leaves the lane, or your mid laner leaves the lane, because then you want to get that EXP up to level 11. And so my offlaner left, so I just want to go ahead and leech the XP. Clinks is going to sit here, do his thing. I'll give him the last hits because I'm not too concerned with that. I mostly just want the levels. And also, you know, looking for kill opportunities here. So we're just going to kill his PA, no big... I mean, this is not a big deal at all. This is very big stuff. Oh, never mind, we're not going to kill her. TPs are good. Also, I missed my kick there. That was a pretty big mistake. RIP. Still making mistakes, even on a 13-game win streak. Anyways, item build. Usually I try to go mech first. Almost always. It's... I don't know. It's kind of old school, but I really do like mech with this style. It feels so right. Keeps you relevant as much as possible. Blade Mail's pretty good with this, although if you're not finding the... I mean, we'll talk real quick about like the efficiency of this style while you see me stack these Ancient Camps and also give them Arcane Boots Kappa. The benefits to having Earth Spirit as a position 4 as compared to a position 3 offlaner, like basically the benefits of having Earth Spirit not in the offlane means that you can open the offlane up for somebody who may scale a little bit better than he does. And most offlaners right now probably scale a little bit better than he does in terms of their damage, at least. Not utility, right? I'd never say that Clinks has more utility than Earth Spirit from a team-wide perspective, but he definitely has more damage, and that's important to know. So what we're doing here is we're throwing Earth Spirit in the safe lane to play position 4, so that he can roam a bunch in the early stages of the game in a lane where he dominates in a position where he dominates, and basically in a lane where he can roam around a bunch and get a lot of other kills and assist other lanes. And then you're just eventually going to make all that EXP back that you would normally have lost in the off lane by simply roaming around getting kills and then eventually taking over a lane that is gone to the jungle to go and farm or something like that, you know? Because usually, I mean, come the mid game, either your mid or your offlaner usually leave that lane to go farm, you know, stacked jungles or ancients if they're TA, or they go and roam themselves. You know, you just make basic rotations and you try to catch back up in EXP. It's a lot like a bounty hunter, I've noticed. You just stay in whatever lane keeps feeding, and then you feed off of that lane. And it's amazing. I really like it. I haven't lost a game with it yet, in ranked at least. This is unfortunate on their behalf. But we come in here and we dank meme him. Put our bull on everybody. Mech up so we can go and, you know, push. And now look at this. Like, we have a Jug, we have a Clinks, and we have, I'd argue the Ogre is a pretty good late game scaling support. I always have my utility. Ogre is good because he has the crack speed, by the way. The crack attack speed and movement speed. Puck is always good for utility. I'm always good for utility. Basically, none of our slots are lacking in a damage or utility department. Whereas if I was in the offlane and we had, like, say, a support disruptor, I'd feel like a little bit nervous because we only have, like, a Jug, you know, to scale into the late game for damage purposes. Puck does do some considerable damage, but it's mostly magic. And so it's always something that you have to be worried about. Whereas now, you know, we can have a Clinks there. And I'm not saying Clinks was the best pick here. Obviously, they have a bounty hunter. But, you know, insert Clinks with any other offlane hero that you want, and you'll basically see the same story. Earth Spirit was never famed for his damage come the later stages of the game. He's mostly a monster early game, a monster early to mid game in the damage department, and then a utility scaling beast in the late game. And that's, I mean, that's truth right there. Okay, I've got like almost 500 games on Earth Spirit. I feel a little qualified to at least telling you that much. So anyways, we take Roshan. I always recommend having Roshan control if you have control over the game, right? Basically, take Roshan if you control the game. It's good. it doesn't throw you the game so long as you take it at the appropriate time, like Baron Nashor might in League of Legends. Anyways, we're sieging. We have a ton of sustain. I have mech. I have Urn. We have Jug. You know, this is like all basic stuff. I could not include this in the video and it would still hold the same amount of merit. The point that I'm really trying to take away here, you know, I'm making stupid dives and stuff, whatever, who cares about all this. The point that I'm really trying to have you take away from this game is look at how hard we snowballed, okay? Ogre hasn't died yet. Jug is 8-2. I'm 7-1, right? We snowballed the crap out of this game. And the main reason that we did that, I'm not going to actually say the main reason, okay? I was a large contributing factor to that, okay? And we saw that in fruition just a few seconds ago, okay? I cannot stress this enough, and I'm not trying to flaunt this or anything like that, but I'm trying to like tell you guys what you need to do if you want to gain MMR in this patch, okay? It's play support, preferably play a support that has a lot of early game potential, whether that be through killing the offlaner or roaming around and getting kills. Who cares? I don't care, right? It does not matter how good your support is or where they're good. Just make sure that they are good, okay? Make sure that they have some merit to them in terms of either killing or denying the fuck out of people, because those two qualities are very sought after in this current patch, okay? I told you the build. I'll tell you a little bit more about the build. I do get blink a little bit with this build. I'm not going to lie. Let me try to get out of player perspective, free camera. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the build because I have been getting blink a lot more with this build. So what I usually like to do is get mech, maybe blink into ags. Sometimes I'll go blade mail blink. Blade mail blink is really good because you can blink in, activate your ulti, and then blade mail because you expect to take a bunch of damage back. The reason why you get blade mail after blink and you make it good, as opposed to like an Earthshaker that would go blade mail or an Enigma that would go blade mail, is that when you initiate, especially with Blink Dagger, you don't really do much like outside of, you know, damage, and then obviously you throw your initial stun out, but it's not like a 4-second stun or a 4-second black hole or a 3-second RP or like a big echo slam that's followed up by a big fissure. Okay, you go in there, you stun like 3 people, you propagate your Ebola out to all 5 of them, maybe you silence them and maybe you slow them, but that doesn't stop them from turning around and right clicking you. So what I like to do if I go blink sometimes is get blade mail. But most of the time, I'll go Mechanism. And after Mechanism, I'll get an Ags. And then after Ags, I'll go something like Blink. I usually go Arcane Boots first, though. So before those big items, like I told you earlier, I'll go Arcanes, but only after getting an Urn. And then I start the game with an Orb of Venom. I'm kind of going backwards, I'm sorry. I'm going backwards because I told you guys all of this before. Ward, Tango, Clarity, try to get either a Fairy Fire, some branches, any assortment of those items if you have to buy the Courier. If you don't have to buy the Courier, just get the Orb of Venom. You won't regret it. Try to kill your offlaner, or try to kill the enemy offlaner at least a few times. It should not be that hard. I'm not joking, guys. In every single one of my games that I've played, all 13 of them, playing Supporter Spirit, I have killed the offlaner relentlessly in some of these games, right? Some of these games, I've just killed them like 3 or 4 times. Like, it's absurd how easy it is to kill the enemy offlaner in this patch, and how easy it is to deny them, and how absurdly difficult it is to play the offlane in this patch, which is why I would say that this is the patch of supports, or at least this isn't the patch of offlaners. Last patch it was pretty good. Last patch offlaners had it decent, but now I don't know, with the changes that they made to the map and I don't know, items, I guess 6.86, it just seems like it's too hard to be an offlaner, so I want to be a support. And damn it, I can be a pretty good support. Earth Spirit can be a pretty good support. So anyways, like I said, Arcanes and Urn. Urn first, Arcanes after, unless you're not snowballing at all, in which case just skip the Urn, or if somebody else gets the Urn. I don't mind Drum with this build. I talked kind of extensively about Drum before on Earth Spirit. I'm starting to come around to it. I saw some pros get it. I'm not trying to say that it's good just because I saw pros get it, because that's not an argument. That's just saying the people that are good are getting the item, therefore it's good. Like, that doesn't make any sense there. There's no actual argument being presented there. And just a quick tidbit, if I could just say, please do not use that argument, okay? Just because people that are good get an item does not make that build to be good, right? I could be the best mechanical player in the entire world. Doesn't necessarily mean that I know how to do math. Doesn't necessarily know that I know how to do science. It just means that I'm pretty good with a keyboard and a mouse, okay? But anyways, I've done a little bit of research. I do think that Drum is a decent buy on this hero, so if I need to get a casual bracer because I'm dying too much, I'll do it. Maybe I'll turn it into a Drum. But mostly, as I told you, Arcane Boots, Urn, get that mech, maybe turn it into a Greaves depending on the situation. If you ever don't know what to build a mech. And if you don't know what to build after that, build a Guardian Greaves. And if you still don't know what to build after that, and you still somewhat find yourself with gold between all the Observer Wards, Sentries, Smokes, Dust that you should be buying, as well as TPs, I don't know. At that point, you can't really just AFK your item build at that point. Mech is pretty much always a good item. I would almost always prefer it in a game as opposed to some other item on any other hero, right? I guess not any other hero. If my position 4 ever said, hey, I don't know what item to get, I'd probably always recommend Mech. It's just never a bad item to have in a team. And it's not like it's becoming worse or anything like that. It's stayed the same throughout the last few patches. A while ago it got nerfed in the mana cost, but I think it's in a good spot right now, and so I'd pretty much say that you should just always get it if you don't know what to build on Earth Spirit. And if you ever don't know what to build after getting just a mech, of course with your Arcanes and with your Urn, then just get the Guardian Greaves. I'm skipping Bottle more and more. You may have noticed that I'm not talking about Bottle. I just really don't like the item. It became it became a lot worse. Costs 40 less gold, but it gives 20 less mana and health at gulp. Like, that's just not, I don't know. To me, that's not that appealing. So I've been skipping the item a lot more. And I kind of like it. I like skipping the item a little bit. On Support Earth Spirit, I find myself strapped for cash, even if I'm snowballing heavily. Between buying wards and never getting last hits. So I don't really mind skipping Bottle in favor of a mech or in favor of quicker arcanes or anything like that. I find it's quite helpful. But one thing I don't think you can skip out on, like I was telling you, is pretty much always get a mech. Just you're grouping so often. It's like you are all about objectives, even more so. Saying that, though, I don't think you should get like a Solar Crest. There's very few situations in which I'd say you should get a Solar Crest, but I'm not telling you that you're all about objectives just so you can go and turn that into a Solar Crest building machine. I'm just saying you're a great mech carrier with this style because you're pretty much always going to be grouping with your team. Pipe is a good item with this style. Not a huge fan of some of the items that you may see in here. I haven't built Radiance yet as supporter Spirit. Haven't built Lincolns. Haven't built Octarine. Haven't built BKB. Haven't built Lotus. Like a lot of these items are like my more so acute more so acquainted with my my offlane build. Like when I have the gold to afford like an Octarine. Right, I do get Ags, but that's just because Ags is like becoming so core on this hero in 6.86 especially, right? And like I told you, I do get Blade Mail, but even that's kind of a rare case. I don't get Veil anymore, although there is some merit to getting Veil on this style. If I had like say a Zeus mid and maybe like a Gyro, yeah, I think a Zeus mid and a Gyro carry, that'd be really good if I got a Veil in that game, and I'd probably get that. I might get that over a Mechanism. Still don't get Aether Lens. I think that item is trash on this hero. But yeah, Force Staff, haven't really bought it on this style. I think I favor Blink in almost every case. It kind of acts as like a pseudo Ags ult, or Ags pull, or whatever. Like, very pseudo. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Force Staff on this hero anymore. But it has its merit. I'd say Blink, though, is probably better. And I don't even really like Blink too much. Although I have been getting it a lot more on this style. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm super big fan of it. But yeah, anyways. So we'll continue a little bit of this game. But like I told you, the important part's over. It's just roam. This game is all about roaming and supports as a support, right? And this is coming, like I said, from a 4.8k dirty, filthy Earth Spirit picker, right? That just went on a 13-game win streak, doing literally just that, right? It's literally just roaming, picking support, pulling the shit out of the wave, constantly pissing off the enemy offlaner, probably killing him as a result, and then just roam. And if that roaming includes you, quote, roaming on the enemy offlaner again, roam around the map, and if you can't get any kills, just roam right back to your safe lane and just killing the offlaner, then do it, man. I don't think that that's bad at all, right? If you can't get a kill on the map and you just got to go back and sit on the enemy offlaner and constantly deny him, and your mid is crying all the while saying, you guys never ganked for me, don't even stress it. I had an invoker earlier today that was really mad that we were never ganking their quap, even though it was like it's fucking quap, right? And it was pretty difficult to get some ganks happening on her because he kept pushing, and then he would get ganked, and then he would complain at us for not rotating. We still ended up winning that game, right? I'm still on the 13-game win streak, so we're still winning that. We still won that game. Don't listen to the baby ragers. Roam on lanes that you know you can get kills on, and then just do it, right? It's really that easy. This hero got worse very much objectively in 6.86, and you guys may remember a little while ago, I went on an 8-game loss streak trying to make this hero work in the off lane. And long story short, he got gamped, okay? He definitely got gamped in the off lane. I used to think very much so that support Earth Spirit was bad because I couldn't realize his full potential. I've now come around and said, oh, I've now come around and have accepted the fact that if this hero is meant for the support position, then he can do it quite well, as long as he's not the bitch support, and as long as he can roam and get some, some effectiveness and use as a fourth position. So yeah, basically that's it. That's all I really wanted to talk about. If any of you guys have any questions, please ask them in the comments. This video is already really trailed on for too long though, so that's basically it. If I could call this a hero guide, I would, and I guess maybe I will for the title and the sake of purpose and sake of getting a video out there that's technically a hero guide. But mostly this is just a supporting guide in 6.86 because at the end of the day, you could replace your spirit with any other hero now. That I've like any other support hero that can do a similar thing to him and probably have similar success, right? Just in general, off laning became worse, safe laning became better, specifically supporting because the safe lane carry probably has to sit there and farm still. But yeah, dude, go get some free MMR, boys.